The state capture inquiry continues to hear evidence today relating to Eskom, with former Trillian employee Mosilo Mothepu taking the stand. The inquiry also expects to hear from 3 McKinsey senior partners about money flows in relation to the consulting company. Eskom's dealings with Gupta-linked company Trillian date back to more than 4 years, when it allegedly received unlawful fees and contracts from Eskom. Now, McKinsey announced yesterday that it will repay about 650 million rand for work done on Transnet and SAA contracts. Well, let's stay with this story, and I'm joined in studio now by my colleague and fellow journalist, Tumaole Mohlaoli, who's going to unpack for us what's likely to come up at State Capture Commission of Inquiry. Firstly, let's deal with them coming out yesterday, Tommy, about wanting to pay 650 million rands, split between Transnet and SAA. What is that about?
Well, when it looks...
Is it an admission of guilt? And I'm sorry to cut in.
Well, Kuli, it certainly would seem that it's an admission of guilt, or certainly them admitting that there was some undue processes that they were involved in that weren't supposed to happen. So if you look at what happened in SAA and Transnet, where Trillian was involved, that company benefited from advanced payments for services that, when the auditors looked back, didn't seem to add any value in terms of their consulting services, in terms of the role that they were supposed to play, and in how they got those contracts awarded. So this is what this fine, if you would use that, is all about, because effectively they have to fork out and give back to the public purse monies that weren't supposed to be issued in the first place.
Make clear for us, Tumaole, today at the State Capture Inquiry, you're going to have the senior executive leadership team at McKinsey, but is that the sum total of the people going to be testifying? My hearing is that there is going to be some whistleblower as well. Who might that be?
Well, in terms of McKinsey specifically, it would be the people who were involved in those transactions. Now, what the Commission of Inquiry has been doing is that, in terms of its investigations, it has not only been dealing with the principals, so to speak, the guys at the top, but also the people who were involved implicitly in making sure these transactions went ahead. So that's what is going to be expected today in terms of what the evidence will be about, because they will then have to account as to what happened to the payments and what the payments were for, and answer questions about whether any services were provided or not.
Yeah. This morning, listening to one of these countries' foremost commentators on these issues, Iraj Abedian, and he's very clear that what McKinsey has offered here in terms of this 650 million rand, it's actually nothing. It's a pittance. He states that to Eskom, for example, they owe the power utility 6 billion rand. We know that in 2018, they paid Eskom, this is McKinsey, it paid Eskom in excess of 9 million rand. Abedian is clear that's not nearly enough. As far as what they are going to be paying Transnet and SAA, it's 650 million, and the assumption is that it's going to be split in between these parastatals. I think it was Transnet which came out yesterday saying, no, actually, 1.2 billion is what we think we're entitled to from you, McKinsey.
Absolutely, Kuli. But when you look at it on a broader scale of things, it's a start. Yes, it's a pittance, it's a trickle in the ocean when you look at the figures that are being bandied about. But when you look at the processes of trying to recoup the losses that were incurred by state-owned enterprises during this whole state capture era, it's a good beginning, because it shows that certainly the era of impunity is over. Whether or not the entire amount will be recouped, that remains to be seen, because there needs to be a lot of political as well as law enforcement will to ensure that the pressure is kept up. But of course, with the process having been started, a precedent is set, and certainly the company will have to make sure that it pays its dues.
Yeah. All right. Tommy, very quickly for me, I'm told that we need to wrap now. Very quickly, what would some of the key allegations against McKinsey going to be? We know that they worked with Regiment's Capital, which was a Gupta-linked firm. What is it that they are alleged to have done?
Well, allegedly what was happening is that along with Regiment's Capital, they entered into deals and offered services that were never really rendered or no value was added. So they acted in a consultancy basis. But when you look back at what this consultancy was all about, it doesn't add up. And what's strange is that these payments, in terms of the amount that was given out, were advance payments. This is a theme that keeps recurring when you look at the Gupta's influence and links at SOEs and also at companies. What they did is that they would enter into deals and then get advance payments, and what they delivered for those advance payments still remains to be seen.
And here they are telling us that, look, we got involved in something that we didn't quite understand, but we're trying to make amends for it. Well, we shall hear from them from State Capture. Thank you very much, Tumaole Mohlaoli. He's our man at State Capture, a Commission of Inquiry today.